Cancel culture is real, it's insane, and it's growing exponentially, and it's coming to a neighborhood near you. If you think it's just for celebrities, no. In an era where everyone is online, everyone is a public figure. And mature people understand humans are continually evolving.
You ever feel like you're walking on eggshells, just hoping today's not the day the internet decides you're the villain? One awkward joke, a clumsy sentence, or even cracking your knuckles the wrong way, and boom, you're canceled. Not questioned, not corrected, just erased. Welcome to cancel culture, where second chances are extinct, forgiveness is suspicious, and your teenage self can still get you fired in your 30s. And just when you thought it couldn't get more absurd, Maher dropped a verbal nuke on the whole system.
New rule: liberals need a stand your ground law for cancel culture, so that when the woke mob comes after you for some ridiculous offense, you'll stand your ground. Stop apologizing.
No apologies, no soft landings. Just truth with a matchstick and a gasoline can. He didn't just poke fun, he declared war.
62% of Americans say they have opinions they're afraid to share. 80% of Americans, young, old, rich, poor, conservative, liberal, white, minority, all hate the current atmosphere of hypersensitivity. Yeah, everybody hates it, and no one stands up to it. Because it's always the safe thing to swallow what you really think and just join the mob.
Let's start with this. 62% of Americans say they're afraid to share their honest opinions. 62? That's not a fringe minority. That's more than half the country keeping their mouths shut, not out of politeness, but out of fear. And it gets worse. A staggering 80%, young, old, liberal, conservative, black, white, say they hate the hypersensitive culture we live in now. Hate it. Not dislike, not disagree with. Hate. So why is it still here? Because silence became survival. Because the easiest thing to do is say nothing and hope the mob doesn't notice you. Because right now, speaking up feels like lighting yourself on fire. Maher's take? It's time for a stand your ground law. Just not for your driveway. For your voice. He says enough with the cowering, the groveling, the ritualistic apologies written by PR teams and blessed by Instagram. Stop apologizing to people who don't want forgiveness. Start telling the truth, your truth, and stand by it. Sounds bold, right? But it's not just celebrities in the crosshairs anymore.
Take Mr. Emmanuel Cafferty. He was a San Diego gas and electric worker, but he got fired because someone reported him making a white supremacist hand gesture outside the window of his truck. But he's not a white supremacist, he's Latino. And he wasn't making a hand gesture, he's probably just flicking a booger.
Let's talk about Emmanuel Cafferty, a regular guy. San Diego gas and electric employee. No Twitter blue check, no Hollywood agent. One day, he's cracking his knuckles out the window of his work truck. Someone snaps a photo. The internet squints, makes assumptions, and suddenly, he's labeled a white supremacist for an imaginary hand gesture. Never mind the facts, he's Mexican-American. The gesture? Nothing. But within 24 hours, gone. Job lost, reputation in shambles, life dismantled over a fiction. And if you think that was a one-off, you're not paying attention. This machine doesn't care about context. It doesn't care about nuance. It wants your scalp, and it wants it now.
Is this really who we want to become? A society of phony, clenched asshole avatars, walking on eggshells, always looking over your shoulder about getting ratted out for something that actually has nothing to do with your character or morals? Think about everything you've ever texted, emailed, searched for, tweeted, blogged, or said in passing, or now, even just witnessed.
Because this isn't just about being held accountable. This is about being digitally executed. Every tweet you posted in 2009, every text, every awkward comment from a YouTube vlog you forgot existed, fair game. And cancel culture? It doesn't care that you were 16, drunk on hormones and Mountain Dew. It doesn't care that you've changed. To them, you're frozen in time. Forever, that one moment, that one bad joke, that one costume. Warhol was wrong. In the future, everyone won't be famous for 15 minutes. They'll be shamed for 15. Need proof? Let's rewind to Justin Timberlake. He was dragged through the digital mud, not for something he did last week, but for how he treated Britney Spears in the early 2000s, back when dial-up was a thing and people still said LOL out loud. He wasn't accused of a crime. He was accused of being an imperfect teenage boyfriend. The horror. So, what happened? He apologized extensively, exhaustively, publicly. And the mob still wasn't satisfied because it was never about healing, it was about blood. Now let's talk about Hollywood. You know, the industry that used to scream about censorship and the McCarthy blacklists of the 1950s. Guess what? They are the blacklist now. In 2025, you can't work in Hollywood unless you speak the exact language of the tribe. Deviate 1 inch and you're out. They don't want free thinkers, they want repeaters. And the irony? It's blinding. These are the same people who once championed pushing boundaries, fighting the system, giving voice to the voiceless. Now they are the system. Bill Maher called it out. Hollywood didn't grow, they just switched roles. They're no longer victims of censorship. They're the censors. And then came the AOC debate. Is she the future of the Democratic Party? Or just Kamala 2.0 with Instagram filters and better lighting? Opinions clashed. Loudly. Some say she's authentic. Others say she's performance art in a pantsuit. And when she claimed America hates women, even the guy at the party with an acoustic guitar rolled his eyes. Yes, sexism exists, but not everyone who disagrees with you is a misogynist. Weaponizing identity to shut down debate isn't empowerment. It's intellectual blackmail, and that's what Maher is really warning us about. We're becoming a society where disagreement is heresy, where growth isn't allowed, where every mistake, no matter how old or innocent, is a death sentence, where shame has replaced reason and fear has replaced truth. People aren't evolving anymore. They're performing, playing a role, constantly self-censoring just to survive. And if you don't pass the latest purity test, you're out, even if the test changes every week. So, what's left? A humorless, fragile, paranoid culture where everyone's exhausted and terrified of saying the wrong thing. No jokes, no forgiveness, no space to be human. Just tofu-flavored tyrants, hashtags with pitchforks, and Wi-Fi-powered mobs rewriting your past to control your future. This isn't progress. This is punishment with a Wi-Fi connection. But here's the final twist. Even the loudest cancelers, they're flawed too. They've messed up. They've said stupid things. They've laughed at the wrong jokes. If we applied their own standards to them, they'd be toast by breakfast. So maybe it's time we call this what it is. A game of power, not justice. A war on context, and a total rejection of what makes us human. The ability to mess up, grow, and become better. So, what now? Maybe we stop pretending everyone's perfect. Maybe we stop demanding blood for every mistake. Maybe we remember that growth isn't a sin. And maybe, just maybe, we stop apologizing for liking steak. Because the truth is, if we don't start showing each other some grace, then we're not building a better world. We're just burning the old one down, one tweet at a time. If you've ever felt like you had to bite your tongue just to keep your job, your friends, or your sanity, drop a comment. Is cancel culture finally losing its grip? Or is it mutating into something even worse? Let's talk about it. Because the only way out of this mess is through honest, unfiltered, uncomfortable conversation. And if you're still here, still thinking, still questioning, you're already part of the resistance. Hollywood keeps spinning its version. But now, you know the other side. Want more stories that cut through the noise? Smash that subscribe button. This is just the beginning.